People have a tendency to break things. A sledge, hammer, head. So the sledgehammer has a taper, but then the taper comes back out again. So you put in the shaft like this, then you drive in a wedge, and that spreads out the top like this, just like an axe, and then that wedges it in place so it literally physically can't come out unless the shaft breaks. A sledgehammer shaft is similar to that of an axe in that on the end here there's a little hook that curls up, and that means when you do a big swing, your hand swings down to the bottom of the shaft, catches on the hook, and then you bring your other hand down on top and do a big clonk, and that puts loads of force in. But on the top it's just a tapered bit, and you wedge that into the tapered bit. Now, to wedge the tapered bit into the tapered bit, I'm going to need to taper the tapered bit a bit more. Now that I have her all done up, the way you can tell the head is there's usually a weight marked on it. So here, this one is marked 7 pounds, 7 lbks, 7 pounds per kilo threes, something like that. So you put the marking on top. Now you can see here that when I put the head on, it goes about halfway in. That's what you want. You don't want it too shallow, but you also don't want it too deep, because then you'll have to chop off a bit at the top. So now that we have it like this, we can hammer it on. But we're going to make gravity do the work. Now this is the weird bit. You take your sledge, put it upside down, but you have to make sure the head's on fairly well, otherwise you'll drop it on your toe. Take your big heavy mallet and smack the bottom. Now, it doesn't sound like it makes sense. What happens is, every time you hit it, the shaft gets shoved into the head, and the head, to the head, it's as if it gets hit up into. It's because you hit the shaft so hard, it gets forced down, and this is more effective than just hitting the head on. So let's do that. Just take it like this, hit the top of the shaft, and if you can see there, it's already started moving up. Just carry on. And it's moved up more, and we just keep doing that. Now that we have it properly seated and a good bit sticking out, we can chop a flat end and smash in the wedge. Now when I took the old handle of the sledge, there was this little wedge in it. Now this is like a double cone, and it's a wedge, so you just put it on here, hold her tight, slam dunk. Tiring this. Now that's the sledge about done, and you might notice wedge is sticking out a bit. I have hammered as hard as I can, I just won't go any deeper, so I'm guessing by that fact it's not going to come out, so I've just left it. Next up we've got the pitchfork, and for it I've got this big long shaft. Nice and thick, very nice and thick. When you're using a bot shaft, it's usually pretty easy. You just stick the shaft in as such, but in this one there's a bit of a curvy sort of thing here. So I'm going to chop off the shaft, say here, and then it should push the whole way in. Lovely jubbly. Now it fits in much nicer, but there's still a gap in here. So I'm going to have to taper this bit, just this bit. The bottom's fine, so just taper this bit. So she's fitting nice and lovely now. Doesn't look it, but if I take it with a bit of persuasion, she fits on and she stays on. So now I just need to drill 1, 2, 3 holes. I just realised that I hadn't used any power tools yet, and to drill these holes I was going to use the hand drill, but I may as well use the brace and keep it hand tools only. There we go, just line her up and wind her up. Where am I going? Oh yeah, I'm going the wrong way. There we go, much better. That was pretty quick, only a minute a hole. Now, just need to put this glue back on. Let's see. Squeeze her in. Give her a tap. Now comes the very important question. How straight should I drill my holes? Now I could hold these together with the rivets, which would be really cool, but considering these shafts usually only last up to 5 years, it's an absolute nightmare to remove rivets. So I'm just going to use some machine bolts and a nut. Now is when we see, did I drill my hole straight? And no, I didn't. Can you see there? I didn't. Now if you can see here, I've managed to get the other 2 bolts in, but this one, can you see the hole? Now let's see. No, you can't see the hole. But anyway, it's off centre by about 1 millimetre. So my hope is I can pry this over and clip it in. Let's see. Might need to re-drill the hole a bit. I've drilled out the holes and I've got the bolt lining up, but it's too springy. So I can use this clamp here and that'll pull it through. Now I can attach a nut and a washer. Uno, dos. There we go. And tighten her up with a wrench or spanner. Now the final one to do is this here shovel, and as you can see it's a pretty thin neck, but for the handle I have it's not very thin, so I'm going to have a lot of tapering to do. Maybe about half, 3/4 the way. Still a bit to go. There we go, that's pretty good. For the fun bit again, take the handle, hop in the shaft, give it a nice rummage in so it's in about right. Get her lined up. Right there. Now you hold her and give her a good smack on the top. With it pounded in nicely, I can now mark up for the hole and drill her out. The hole drilled, can now stick the head back on. Now I can add the bolt. There we go, don't think that's half bad. And what, just over an hour, managed to do a spade, a sledgehammer and a set of forks, pitchfork, and they're all rehandled. So this one just hammered in, bolt through, this one hammered in, 2 bolts, this one hammered in and wedged. And I also did this here mallet. The handle broke on me, but I didn't show that. But that only took 5 minutes, so it's fun. I would even say fun because I love using the spoke shave that much. But it's pretty easy, and I did it with all hand tools, even hand drill, which again I find fun. Yep, fun. Anyway, there you go. I also did a handle for another shovel a while back. I think I'll put the video here, sure. And I think I did the wee top bit of the handle, the cap or whatever, I did that over there somewhere. And sure, subscribe in the middle or whatever.